So Spencer has added his vocal tracks, and we're close to being ready to master the track. So first of all, a few things that I've done since Spencer added his vocals is I went through and relabeled all of my EZMix plugins. You can see that on each channel. I have a name for the insert effect or the EZMix 2 effect based on the preset. So this allows me to stay organized, and I can quickly look at any channel and see what I'm actually using for EZMix presets. So we'll run with that for now. One more thing we need to do, Spencer mentioned his background vocal fades. So if we look into the background vocal, you can see that they're not necessarily starting and stopping at the same time. Now he did some interesting things with the right and left pan, giving it a bit of a stereo effect, but we also want to make sure everything's starting and stopping at the same time. Now I could go in and manually adjust this, but Spencer will usually do this himself. So he'll go through and make sure everything starts correctly, and he's actually sent me some files that I can use. So I'm just going to drop those in. I have those here. And so I'll label the tracks accordingly too. I'll take the NF off so we know these are now the correct vocals with proper fades. And I prefer actually to have Spencer do this because he knows what he wants his vocals to sound like. He knows what he wants the background vocals to do as far as starting together, stopping together, anything he does, like the stereo panning adjustments that he made to kind of widen the sound of his vocals. So usually he'll do that for me and I can just drop them in, which is great. You see everything is a bit closer. We still, if we zoom way in, we have the panning differences, but everything's just starting and stopping a little bit closer together, and the fade outs happen where they should.
Everything that you do, I wanna call.
At this point, I want to go ahead and start adding my master plugins. Now, we may make some additional adjustments to the mix. What I like to do is just add my plugins to the master fader and listen to the mix. So I'm going to keep things fairly simple. For this track, I'll bring in EZMix, just a few different instances that we'll use for the master channel. And again, we'll go to EZMix 1. I'm going to grab this 40 hertz control. I want to make sure that we get any really low end subfrequencies that don't need to be there out of the way so the mix isn't boomy on other systems. So I just like to clean that up a little bit. I know I'm already doing that on the bass, but I'm going to do that on the master channel as well. It's a very subtle modification, but we'll go ahead and keep that in there. We'll grab a second instance of EZMix. And I'm going to go into this mastering pack. There's a couple different mastering preset packs that TuneTrack has released. I really like these. There's some really great presets in here that I use all the time. I'm going to go down to the saturation preset. Here we have a lift, which is some EQ, low and high, and some compression, and then some saturation just to give the track a little bit of that tape emulation. I'm going to back off the lift just a little bit, and we'll increase the saturation just a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what this does. Now, I'm going to also bring down the output volume because a lot of times these plugins will bump the output volume. That's okay if you want that, but I'm going to wait and see where things are sitting with my levels. So for now, I'll just bring down that output level just a bit. So we'll go down about 6 dB, and actually we'll go down about 4 dB on the output. And that way we don't clip. A lot of times you can clip on the input or the output and you'll see a little red LED. And if that happens, you need to lower the input and or the output to make sure you're not clipping when adding these effects, especially the mastering effects, because there's a lot of volume adjustment that happens here.
Everything that you do, I wanna call on you.
So you can hear with that plugin, even though I'm lowering the input and output quite a bit, there's still a big volume difference there. So just be aware of that when you're using these mastering plugins. We'll add one more plugin here, and this will be from the core expansion, and we're going to use master ambience. So we have some compression going on, multi-band compressor, and of course we have a little bit of room reverb. This will be subtle. The room reverb on the master channel will glue things together a little bit. The compressor will glue things together a little bit as well. Now I'm going to lower some of the input and output levels once again with this plugin. Let's take a listen to what it does.
Everything that you do, I wanna call on you for everything that you do. Baby, baby, break it down here.
So I brought up the compression level a little bit and also the ambience. Let's take a listen once again.
Call on you, everything that you do. I wanna call on you for everything that you do. Baby, baby, break it down here.
So we're getting close there. I'm going to bring in a Personas plugin here. We'll bring in this level meter because I want to see where things are sitting with the volume, especially on this third chorus where things are at the loudest point.
Call on you, everything that you do.
And that's not a bad level. I'm going to grab one more plugin here. I want to add a limiter just to see if we can boost the volume a little bit more just to get it a bit louder. A limiter is an extreme compressor, kind of a brick wall compressor where you can get the level of your audio up to a certain point without clipping. So let's try this mastering limiter from the Mastering 2 EZMix library. Again, I'm going to bring down the levels just a little bit. I don't really know where things are going to be, so I'm going to bring the limiter all the way down. I might bring the attack up just a little bit. I'm going to ease in the limiter, and we'll see where we can get things to sit.
Call on you, everything that you do. I wanna call on you for everything that you do. Baby, break it down.
So we'll try that out. And I just noticed actually too, my paracomp, my compressed drum track was muted. So even though this makes a subtle difference, let's make sure we unmute that and bring that in. Let's take a listen one more time to the third chorus.
That you do. I wanna call on you for everything that you do. Baby, break it down here. Call on you, everything that you do. I wanna call.
So we are getting close. What we're going to do at this point is I'm basically going to bounce a version of this out, and I'm going to listen to it on a different set of speakers. Now in Studio One, all I do is we use this loop range. We want to make sure this is starting right at the beginning. And a lot of times I might go a little bit before, zoom way in. I don't necessarily like things starting right on the beat, because if anything is not quite quantized and starts a little bit before, you're going to lose that. So I like to bring it in just a little bit. It's nothing you're really going to notice when you render out the track. And then we want to make sure we allow things to fade. Things are cutting off right there. So even if we go just a little bit past that, we should be fine. So I'm going to bounce down this audio, Control E, call this Neo Soul Master 1. Now typically you would want to render out a WAV file. I'm just going to do a quick MP3 file at the higher bit rate so that I can basically send it over to my other computer. I'll listen to it. I'm going to do this a few times, and then I'll come back, explain any mix adjustments that I heard, and then we'll be close to finalizing this track.